That's right. All right. Speaking of sleigh rides and making movies, Olivia, can you tell us about some of the stories on set of? Let's give a little background real quick, because not everybody got to listen to Be Awesome together last night. You have been an actress, a writer, a producer, and a director for many, many years now.
Yes.
And so you decided to take on your own projects, and this Sleigh Ride is your second full project of doing it all. Yeah.
Second feature film that's out and has distribution. In fact, I've only made 2, and they both got distribution, so that's nice. That worked out well. Yeah, that worked out well for me. Yeah, my first one came out in 2019. That was A Holiday Boyfriend. It's a very Hallmark rom-com. It's done very well. It was a low budget, and we pulled it together by our bootstraps and made it work, and it's been a wonderful project. And then it went so well that I decided to do another one, and then Sleigh Ride just came out in October, so just like maybe a month and a few weeks ago. So it's just
and for all of you Googling it, they are very opposite of each other. Not a sequel to Holiday Boyfriend.
Yeah, no. So, totally different genres. One is the holiday rom-com, and one is the holiday horror. Sleigh Ride is SLAY. Sleigh Ride. Yeah. It's about a Santa Claus killer who's out punishing the naughty. As they do.
As they do. Can you tell some stories about how you saw some of the wonky moments that happen?
I'm going to tell about one of the wonky moments on A Holiday Boyfriend. It's one of my favorite wonky moments, honestly, because my girlfriend who was helping me produce, she had a friend of hers who was taking riding lessons, and he offered his ranch for us to shoot at, and he said, yes, you can use my horses in the film. So we scheduled everything, and we brought the whole crew up, and everybody shows up on the day, and we get there, and I'm like, okay, so what horses are available? And he's like, oh, I got a flat last night and on my trailer and left all my horses at a ranch down in Burbank.
No.
I was like, you don't have any rideable horses here? And he says, I have one rideable horse. And I was like, and the scene is like that she's going riding with this date that she's met online. She's doing online dating, and she's not having much luck, but she found one guy who rides, and so she was going to go for a ride with him. And anyway, so then it turns out in the scene where she's supposed to be saddling and bridling and getting her horse all ready, and then going for this ride, and I have to tell you this whole story. So then the other horse, so I put the guy on the horse because he's coming to the ranch, and then I was like, you don't have another horse? Like one other horse? And he's like, well, this colt can take a saddle if you're really gentle. And I was like, well, great. But he doesn't take a bridle. And I was like, okay, well, let's make it work. So we get the colt, and I'm very experienced at tacking horses. And so, I'm very gentle, and he takes the saddle really well. I'm able to brush him and do all the things, and then put the pad and the saddle on him. And then I had to leave him in a halter. Do you guys know the difference between a halter and a bridle? So the bridle has the reins on it. That's what you ride the horse with. The halter has the lead rope that you lead.
Okay. All right.
So they wear them both on their face, but not usually together at the same time. And you would never take your horse riding with the halter. Anyway, I had no choice. And I was like, okay, all horse riders everywhere are going to be like, what is happening here? But I had to go, I'm leading my horse with the lead rope, and I'm walking out as if I'm about to go riding, and I couldn't mount or anything this horse. We just kind of had to cut right before she's about to. And it was one of those moments where really he was like, I left all the horses, and you're just like, I mean, what are we going to even do today? And then it all worked out. And then I want you to know, after the movie came out, my girlfriend, my partner, who'd been there that day, she says to me, why is this horse in a halter? I was like, how can you not remember? Like, this was like this huge, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to do? There's not a horse here that we can ride. Anyway, it all worked out fine. You have like I told you last night on the show, I was like, you have to be able to redirect. You have to be able to compromise, figure something out. You have to be able to problem solve and just move forward. So we did, and it worked. It worked out good. I mean, horseback riders will be like, why is this horse not in proper tack? But everybody else is like, oh, what a cute scene. So it's great.
That's okay. Hey, there's Tyra. Tyra popped in and said, hello, nerds.
Oh, hi, Tyra.
And Random Kid has said, staging a house sounds like a pain for a movie.
Oh my gosh, it is so much work. It is so much work. If you're doing a Christmas movie, just know, and if you ever watch a Hallmark Christmas movie, if you look at Hallmark Christmas movies, they decorate. There are garlands up and down every single railing, inside and out, around every cupboard. There is Christmas thrown up on the screen, and it is beautiful to watch. But that was not my movie. We used the same 6 decorations in every scene. So if you want, I'm sorry,
Wow.
that was the budget that we had for a holiday boyfriend, and we just didn't have the time because I didn't hire somebody separate for that. For a holiday boyfriend, the budget was so small. I did it myself, which I'm actually good at. But I was also directing and prepping myself to be in the scene and changing. And anyway, there was too much to do. And so I apologize, but the movie is good. People really like A Holiday Boyfriend. They like the movie, which is nice. But yes, the same 5 Christmas decorations in every scene.
Yeah, I love those kind of stories. You just do what you got to do. It's I mean, that is the magic of performing or whatever magic is, right? Is just angles and make you believe, and look over here while I go over there. And TV Travis, I was listening and talk about some older movie today, and he's like, the saying is anything can happen in a pan away. So you just pan away, pan back, and look, they're now at the field having a picnic. They rode a horse for sure.
And that is the truth. That is the truth. I shot the film and I realized at the end that I didn't have any B-roll. Do you know what B-roll is? Everyone knows B-roll.
Yep.
So B-roll is your picture of the barn and of the haystack and, the fence, like it's just your B-roll. And I had not shot any, and I had to go in and buy stock footage. And it's so funny because I'll see the same stock footage in my movie in Hallmark films. And I'm like, they got that, same as I did off of stock footage. But it saves your movie, saves your film. So
nice. How, because you got distribution on both. I wanted to kind of hit on that last night. I'm very interested. That seems to be the bigger issue for any movie, right? Any production of how do we get the world to see it? How did you manage to get distribution for not one, but both of your films?
So this is a lovely question. That was my own little Christmas miracle. So when I shot the film, I told you, I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't. Like I know how to write the script. I know how to produce it and put it all together, but I just was kind of winging it, right? And when the film was finally done, I took it to a finishing house that my partner recommended. It's KO Creative, the letters KO Creative. And it's owned by a woman named Christy Kilday, who has just become a mentor and just a valuable resource to me. But when she, back then, her mother was working as her receptionist. And I sent them the film and I said, look, I need color correction. I need a trailer. I need a poster. I need sound. I need these things. Can you do them? And can you do them for almost no money? Because I have no budget, right? Like I was like, what are these things going to cost me? And her mom said to me, well, we're here to support, female filmmakers. Sorry, guys. And she said, we do a lot of big projects and we make really good money. So then we can support these smaller productions. Gosh, I'm sorry, you guys.
It's all right.
Remember, I'm a woman and a mom. Whew, okay, so anyway.
Hey, that's not a necessary woman thing. When somebody believes in you and what you're doing and reaches out like that, it should move everybody to tears.
It was so amazing. And then I just told her, like, well, this is what I have. And she's like, yeah, we can do it for that. And she said, and then you should talk to my daughter about distribution. She says, we have a deal with a company who we finish their films and then we can send them certain films to distribute. And so as soon as we were done with A Holiday Boyfriend, we barely finished it at the end of September. And that was like the last minute to get it out for that December. They need at least 60 days to, get your film and the trailer and everything lined up and blah, 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 all the stuff that they have to do. So Christy just said to me, she says, we can send it to this company and we can get it out this Christmas. She said I could shop it around if we had more time, but we can just take this deal. And I was like, let's just take this deal. If they're going to take this movie and distribute it, I'm just going to say thank you. And that's exactly what happened. She just took it and she distributed it, and then got the distribution. And then with Sleigh Ride, she had of course won my undying loyalty. So with Sleigh Ride, I just sent her the film. I was like, just, you know, you're going to be the one that finishes this, and then when we're done, let's just get distribution. And she did. So she just shopped it around and got me distribution, and it's a better deal, but similar to what we did last time. And I think it's just going to be great. So anyway,
I will take the moment to pop it up there. Linktree is Olivia Dunkley. That's Dunkley. Olivia is the standard spelling there. And you can find these on Amazon Prime and Netflix and iTunes and everywhere. You know,
Apple, Fandango. It is. They are there everywhere. Yeah.
Any other questions, Jen?
We got lost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Thank you.
Like Tyra comments here, that's wonderful. People helping people.
It really is.
Yeah. It's gratitude is everything. But Kurt, you look like you had something to say a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. So in light of now that you've had a couple of movies under your belt that you were pretty much responsible for, what do you find is the most difficult portion of making the film?
Believing in yourself. That is the hard part of making a movie. Making the movie is such a long process.
Right.
It has so many different stages. You know, you're writing the script all by yourself, and then you maybe have somebody read it and give feedback, and then you're producing it pretty much all by yourself. You know, you're buying the costumes and getting the locations and getting, hiring your crew and your talent and everything, you're doing all this pre-production. Then you're shooting for 2.5 weeks, 12 hours a day. And then you still have to edit it. And always when you see the first edit, you're like, we didn't get it. It's ruined. It's so hard the first pass at your film, and then you do the work to make it better and better. But the hardest part is just to keep going, because one day you're like, oh, this is going to be so good and people are just going to love it and it's going to be so fun, and the next day you're like, why am I doing this? This is going to be awful and it's just not going to work, and it's so hard. And it really is an emotional roller coaster, and it's one you're kind of going on by yourself. And so I always just tell myself, okay, Olivia, well, there's nothing to do but go forward. So
did you edit it all yourself?
I did not edit any of it. So I don't I'm not an editor.
Right.
I'm barely a filmmaker. I'm not an editor. So I sent it to an editor both times, and they both did two different editors, and they both did an excellent job, I think, with what there was. And then they were able to take notes and help me create, with the help of B-roll, the story the way that it needed to be told. So
that would be my worst nightmare. Like just if I was responsible for editing, I have a feeling nothing would ever come out.
I had a friend who said to me, like, that's the reason I can't make my movie, because I have to sit there and watch every single frame and choose the right one and, get it all together. And I was like, oh no, you can't do that. Like, you would make yourself crazy. You have to just, here, you take this, give me a take. And then you just have to ride the wave of anguish at what comes out, there's some good things and there's some things that you're like, how did we shoot this so wrong and not get what you needed? And then you just have to be like, okay, well, how can we fix it? What can we do? How can we make it better? What could we do to make it work? And in Sleigh Ride, the very first scene, we didn't shoot it the way that while we were shooting it, I was like, this is going so good. And then when I saw the edit, I was like, oh my gosh, we didn't shoot it right. And it's not right. And I was just like devastated, because it was just it's this good, juicy little scene, where somebody gets murdered right in the beginning. And anyway, I was just like, I screwed it up. And so then I said to her, can we do a lot of jump cuts? And it came out really fun. You just kind of have to get creative with it and find a way to make it work. And if you just keep going, you will. There's nothing to do but go forward.
So when you say you didn't shoot it right, Was it a vision of the scene thing, or what do you mean by that?
So it's a timing thing, right? So you just have to, first of all, I didn't follow the script as closely as I wish I had. And then I was like, oh, I wanted this to happen, then it didn't happen. So, okay, nothing you can do about that. But there was a timing, there was a buildup that needed to happen that I didn't quite get there. And I had to cheat it. I had to cheat it in the edit to create the energy that I wanted for the scene. And I do think we got there. I think it came out really nicely. But if you watch the film, you'll see in that scene, you might notice that we do some jump cuts. And my partner in this one was Robert Griffith. It was his original story idea. My friend who he passed on earlier. He just passed on in July, actually, right before the movie came out. But he loved it that way. He was like, I love how you edited this. And I was like, well, I did that because we didn't shoot it right. So it's nice because he liked it. At least there's that. So.
The first time I came across that, I was working as a producer for an entrepreneurial podcast, and they did interviews. And my whole thing's always been more of a documentarian, right? We hit go, we record. If I mess things up, it's just life, and we move forward. And so the host and owner of the show was like, well, I want to get a transcript. I want to edit the transcript of the show and then have you fit the audio to that. I'm like, that's the worst thing. It wasn't. It was difficult to edit. Editing words is a whole different beast than editing audio. So once I got a transcript back from somebody else and she had edited it, I spent hours moving the audio. But once it was done, like you said, you cheated a little bit. You from that. So with your editor, they have their tricks and things that they do that they know how to. In audio, we do the same thing. Once it's done, it's like, oh wow, that's. You never know. That's not how that show went. Yeah. It really did hit that pacing better in that energy. Yep. It's just a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
So, Joe, editing is when you actually go and sit down with the audio. You're not just show up on the microphone.
You mean like what I do when I do the Wise and Nerdy clips? I do some editing on there. It's clear you don't watch them.
Okay, most of them are bad dad jokes, so I'm not. I can't be trapped.
No, only like 1 in 6.
You muted, Kurt.
I know. That just shows that he does not listen. If he thinks they're all bad dad jokes.
Well, and there's different times where I've taken segments from 3 different parts of the podcast and put it into a single clip because they were all we came back to a topic.
So
that's editing. That counts.
Pro tip: getting defensive ruins a joke, Joe. It was a great joke, and you just ruined it. All right.
Your face ruins the joke.
Oh.